Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Postgame Podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome in. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen here in the Radish Garden. Our guy Steven is running the show today. Okay, I'm going to tell you the score in case you didn't watch the game, and I'm going to say it wasn't as bad as the score says. The Blackhawks lost to the Rangers 7-1 at home.
Touchdown.
That happened. That actually happened. The Rangers, Cairo Santos, did not miss the extra point. Boy, it was it's crazy to say, for large swaths of this game, the Hawks played really well. They just don't have the ability to put the damn puck in the net. That's it.
They deserved better in that first period. They played real well the first 7 or 8 minutes, and then one goal turned into two, turned into three. But then they got one back early in the second. And you're like, hey, they're getting some chances here. Once the Rangers got that fourth goal, it was done.
Toast.
They just were like, you know what, we're gonna phone it in from here, and I mean, I have the greatest job in the world.
Yep.
Except for 2.5 hours every game day. These games are really hard to watch. It's just getting harder and harder and harder to watch.
Yeah, and what's hard about it to me is not the losing. It's painful to imagine being a Blackhawk. Like, it has to absolutely suck for these guys. And you saw Jake McCabe tonight was having none of it.
Yeah, he was not a happy guy.
And look, there was a breakaway where him and Jones got crossed up on defense. He didn't play perfect by any means, but it's just a lot on these guys who, look, they went in there after the first period and they probably heard from Luke Richardson, hey, keep doing what you're doing. You're playing pretty well. They're losing 3-0.
Yeah.
The game's, for all intents and purposes, is over.
Well, it was over when it was 2-0.
And they played a solid overall game. It's just, it is like we say, every night a matter of talent. Jason brings up a good point, and we're going to get to this a little deeper as we go on. 12 turnovers, yes, they were turning the puck over a lot. But again, these turnovers turn into, or are the result of, rather, the lack of talent. We talk about it all the time. The passes at the feet. The pucks that skate away at the blue line, the passes to no one because they don't quite have the puck sense to know where their teammates are. Like, you can go X's and O's, analytics, whatever you want to do. The bottom line is this roster just flat out sucks. Toews and Kane are not good enough hockey players anymore to carry this team to victory. They're just not. Seth Jones, as much as we like him, is not a good enough number one defenseman to pull this team to victory. They simply don't have. They don't have a goalie who's going to steal a game. They don't have a goal scorer who's going to take the thing over. They just really don't. That's what the problem is. They don't have the talent, and this is a result. They have the worst roster in hockey, and guess what? In 2 months, it's going to be significantly worse. Significantly worse. Breathe.
I just got to keep telling myself this is exactly where I want to be.
Yes.
This is exactly where it's going to get better. But, man, nights like tonight, weeks like this week, months like this month are just, I can't. If it's wearing on me, it's wearing on us, it's wearing on the people covering this team. I can't imagine what it's doing to the guys in the locker room. These are proud individuals. And Mario, talking before the game, Mario was at morning skate this morning. And he said in the room before, right after morning skate, they were actually like having some fun interaction with Kane and Toews and Max Domi. I said Max. And Peter Mrazek were kind of laughing about the two-puck game they play at the end of practice. And they were they were loose and they were feeling good and they were joking with each other. And then, it just is what it is. The Blackhawks don't have the talent to cash in on their opportunities. Every mistake they made tonight ended up in the back of their own net. And when the Rangers made a mistake, the Hawks either fumbled the chance or Igor Shesterkin was there to make the save. And it just I don't know how the Blackhawks, I don't know how this Rangers team lost to the that woke them up though. You're welcome, Rangers.
6 in a row now for
them.
Seven, yep.
The Blackhawks have not won since they beat the Rangers, and the Rangers have not lost since the Blackhawks beat them on December 3rd. They haven't even led, right?
Since they played the
Baby
Rangers.
steps. Let's get a lead.
Was that December
3rd?
Are both of those 7-game streaks then?
7-game streaks.
Both teams.
Both teams.
Wow.
Yep.
So
you're welcome, New York Ranger fans, for the Blackhawks lighting the fire under your overrated asses to finally start playing hockey.
Some comments in the chat I want to get to. Scroll up a little bit, Steven. Where did it go? How many high danger chances was the question? I'm sorry I missed who that was from. The Hawks gave up 12 and had 9 of their own. So that's from Nate. Not too bad, but I said to you, I think maybe the second period, way too many odd man rushes in this one.
Yeah, well, a lot of that had to do with the defense was pinching in.
Yes.
They're trying to get, but that's what happens when you're down 2 or 3 goals. You get aggressive, and if you can't get the puck past that first wave, it's usually a 2-on-1 going the other way. I don't know if I said it to you or if I said it to Mario during the game. I think Luke Richardson needs to start finding guys every time they make a freaking drop pass. I'm tired of the drop passes. You're not good enough. There's nobody behind you good enough. Just skate forward, get it on the net, and go for a rebound. It's the only way this team's going to score. Stop putzing around like you're the 2013 Blackhawks. Every time a guy makes a drop pass, especially the drop pass to nobody, I love that one.
Or the other team.
That's super effective. Luke Richardson should be finding these guys like $100 every time. Like they need a jar of their own that says no drop passes, and every time you drop pass, like it defeats the purpose. Why are we going backwards?
Yeah, Colin Blackwell had an especially egregious one in this game where
Colin Blackwell should sit for a while.
Well, look, we can kind of get into this. Like, I was talking to you as we were walking out of the UC after the second period today. Like, I don't know what it is, but some shakeup needs to happen for not like just for the sake of it, but maybe kind of, right? Because things are going so poorly. Morale has to be so far down. You know, there's almost has to be some kind of, you suggested, sit Jack Johnson for a while. He's starting to look like the Jack Johnson we thought we were getting instead of the guy we saw for the first 25 games of the year. He's 22 minutes a night. No, can't do that anymore. Maybe give him a break. Maybe mix up the D pairs. Maybe, I don't know, call up Josiah Slavin. I know it's like not going to fix everything, but just something
Give Cole Gutman a look.
Something.
He's been playing really good for the Ice Hogs. Give Gutman a look.
Yeah, and if
give Brent Seney a look.
Yes, and if you're really hell-bent about not calling up Reichel, which I get, why throw Lucas Reichel in, I almost said Robert Reichel. Wow. Why throw Lucas Reichel into this disaster? Fine, I get that. But something has to change for the sake of the mental state of the team, of the fans, of the coaches, of everything. It's just really, really hard. And look, like, we're not close with these guys, but we're in the locker room several times a week. We talk to these guys all the time. For the most part, they're all really good dudes, and it's got to be so hard for them. So hard for them to go through this. It's just brutal. By the way, I just saw her name pop up for the first time. Region Rev, happy birthday, Region Rev. Thanks for joining us as always. Day one, Region Rev, pretty close to day one.
She's an OG CHGO. But her and our buddy Michael Collada are riding the Derek King guys.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with Derek King. There's no effing talent.
Derek King.
Scotty Bowman in his prime wouldn't win with this bunch of bums.
You could say Scotty, but by the way, that one does not go in the jar.
No, we can allowed to say Scotty. You could get the ghost of any all-time great coach, and they're still going to suck. There's no talent. There's no talent. Leave Derek King alone. Yeah. They don't suck because Derek King watches video.
Also, let's not over-glorify Derek King's role on this team.
No, he's there because they felt bad for him.
Yes.
They're doing him a solid.
Yeah, they say he handles the offense. Luke Richardson's the coach. Derek King's there and he helps run practice.
Yeah, he's a good guy in practice. And it was basically like, yeah, we're not going to give you the head coaching job, but we like you and we don't want to like screw you over. So here you go. And then keep that resume updated. You may need it.
Yeah.
Like I like Derek King a lot, and like just it's got nothing to do with him. Dick Irvin couldn't win with this sack of crap we got running on the ice right now. No offense, guys, but it's just a bad roster.
The Region Rev says, I disagree, Greg. His wife's cookies are infused with some mojo.
think
Maybe that's it. Maybe they're weed cookies, and these guys are like, whoa, man. Those Rangers uniforms are great colors. Look at how fast they are. Wow.
It's just I don't like yelling. I don't like yelling at our listeners. I love you guys, but
We're yelling to you.
Yes,
yelling
we're
to
just as
you.
frustrated as you are.
Yeah.
Like let's pick the correct hills to die on.
Yes.
The Derek King is ruining the Blackhawks hill is not the hill.
Yeah.
Not that hill. Windy
Yeah.
City Hockey has a super chat, $2.
Super chat.
Richardson puts the same line. Change them up, sure,
Yeah.
but you've got 12 guys that all do the same thing, and none of it is any good. I don't know what you could do to change.
They've got Taves, Kane, Domi Athanasiou, and 12 Reese Johnson.
Yeah, like it's Sam Lafferty's on the top line. Yay for him. He was actually effective tonight.
He was good. He was pissing people off.
He injured somebody and tried to take out the goalie. You know, man, it's. But let's remember, we've got a very angry Bulls show wrapping up in the studio. We're not angry because this is exactly what we wanted, what we hoped for. Maybe not this bad, but you know what? Go big or go home. Insure yourself the best chance at that number 1 overall pick. This is what we want. This is by design, and the light is coming, and hopefully he's wearing number 98.
Greg, the Hawks won the possession battle in this game.
They won the possession battle in the last game too.
They had a 52% Fenwick.
Yeah,
They had 2 fewer scoring chances for than the Rangers. Oh my God. It's just it is. I don't know. Like, there's 82 games, and we're gonna say it every night. It's just talent. That's all it is.
the Rangers were pretty much like, we're just gonna sit back and wait till you F this up, and then we're gonna go down and score.
We know you're going to. Skip
That's
Johnson.
right. Skate around the zone for 45 seconds, and then turn it over at the blue line. We'll go score on a 2-1.
Yeah. Skip in the chat said something, and I forgot what it was. No, keep going. Damn it. I had it in my mind, and I forgot. Davidson did a great job stripping the Hawks of talent. Yes, that was his job.
He did.
As the rebuild, he did very well strip them of talent. Because guess what? If Dylan Strome and Dominic Kubalik and Alex DeBrincat are on this team, they're probably 3 or 4 games better and still missing the playoffs and still and have no chance in hell at getting Fantilli or Bedard. Now, they've got like a roughly 40-something% chance of getting one of those two. That's pretty good. That's the goal here.
And you have at least one more pick in the first round this year.
Yes.
You've got at least 2 picks in the first round next year. So you make no more trades to get first-round picks. You're talking 7 first-round picks over 3 drafts. That's how you rebuild. And if you get a Fantilli or a Bedard in there, that's pretty darn good. So,
yeah.
So here we are, another loss.
All right, I think we've beaten this game into the ground enough. The hockey gods did shine on us again topic-wise today. Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves played their 1,000th game together. Certainly one to forget, that's for sure. But we've got our daily post-game poll question going on right now. Who is the greatest duo in Blackhawks history? Is it Kane and Taves? Is it Hull and Mikita? Or is it Keith and Seabrook? Vote in the chat, and we will get to that discussion and those results later in the show. I don't want to give my opinion on that just yet, but let's reflect a little bit on Kane and Taves, who, came into this organization with sky-high expectations and absolutely delivered on them really from day one. I remember I saw the highlight, Jonathan Taves scoring his first NHL goal in his first NHL game on his first NHL shot. And, Patrick Kane coming into the league and being a star-level player right away, and them winning a Stanley Cup in their 3rd season it's just remarkable what these guys have achieved in the city. And however it's going to come to an end, be it in March, be it this summer, be it in a year or two, maybe they both want extensions, who knows? They're going to go down as one of the best tandems in Chicago sports history. There's no doubt about it. It's just, part of it is tough to see them go through this. It's tough to see those two guys have to try to go out and give everything they've got. And they're paid $10.5 million, and they should do that, of course. And they're both going to do that, of course. But it just sucks that the end of their time here is very likely going to be a lot of games like tonight.
Yeah, they did a really cool little video montage during the first TV timeout. Little highlight package of the two of them, and then honoring them and put the graphic on the board. Let the crowd give them a standing ovation. First of all, it's a little disappointing, and I get why, but to not have their 1,000th game in front of a full house of Blackhawk fans to give them that standing ovation kind of stinks a little bit. But there were just as many Ranger fans there as Blackhawk fans tonight. But just watching that video, it made me smile a little bit. It made me feel really old when they showed the clips of them from their rookie seasons and when they were, feels like a lifetime ago. It made me smile, reminiscing, but then it also made me feel a little melancholy because it's like, oh man, those days are long gone. And when they come back, hopefully they're not going to be a part of it. So it sucks to have that. And then, it's always, people are always going to remember how it ended for a while. Eventually that fades, but people, Brian Urlacher's career here didn't end very well. He did, his play went downhill. There was, you could talk about a lot of different players. Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrooks, their careers didn't end great. People were criticizing. I was one of them. Brent the decline was fast, and Keith was not as drastic, but there was a lot of so people have forgotten about it now. A couple years later, but at the time, it sucks when legacies like that get tarnished. But none of this is their fault. This team isn't as bad as they are because Kane and Toews. There's nobody around them, and good moment for them. It was kind of fun this week, getting to be in the media scrums with the two of them as people were, as different writers were doing features on that topic and asking questions and getting them to kind of try and get some stories out. Kane. It was actually Kane that was a little more revealing than Toews.
Shocking.
Toews said that he didn't have any PG stories to tell from the road, but he did share a little fun story about when they were on a line early in their career, when they were on a line with Dustin Byfuglien, and he'd be like, if it was kind of like a quiet game or something was going on, I would go back to the bench and Byfuglien would get there and go, Kaner, why didn't you pass it to Taser? He was wide open. And I'd look at him and go, yeah, I was wide open. Why didn't? And he'd get us going, and we'd start yelling at each other, and he'd just sit back and start laughing. So
Dustin Byfuglien just lights the fuse.
Yeah, he just stirs it and goes.
Yeah. It was like when Hossa was telling us, he was sitting between the two of them as they're yelling at each other. You pass it. You pass the puck. Is it, I can't get Vince Vaughn out of my head for that. Is it you tighten up? Was that what the word was? Something like that from Wedding Crashers. But Toews and Kane are yelling at each other, and Host is just doing just looking back and forth, and I'm like, what is wrong with these two? Shut up, And they always kind of allude to the, I don't know what you would call it, like the relationship that's not quite all seashells and balloons, right? It's a little bit rocky. Two different personalities, two very different kind of players.
Yeah.
And that I'm sure they had their friction, like Toews is going in corners and winning battles, and Kaner's just up. The piano arrived again. That's gonna be a battle for those guys a lot. And I also think both guys have an ego, and the battle to see who is more beloved and who is the real star and whose team is it and all that stuff. That's all real, but you could see, if nothing else, the mutual respect between the two of them. They have probably like a brotherly relationship where they probably want to kill each other half the time.
Both of them also said they're almost kind of like a married couple at this point.
Yeah.
Where sometimes they just one day, just everything is going to get on your nerves one day.
Yeah.
Just you spend so much time together. I mean, they've literally spent half their lives together almost.
It's crazy to think, like, honestly, you think about how much time these guys spend together between practice, morning skates, games, flights, training camp, playoffs, hotel room. Like, it's just endless.
Yeah.
And you have to get sick of each other. And they've been together for now, 1,000 games. It's way more than that when you factor in playoffs. And, yeah, maybe one guy was dinged up but still traveling with the team. You've got to get on each other's nerves. It has to happen. But, look, I think we can sort of take the 30,000-foot view of Kane and Toews, throw this game aside for tonight, and just say all of us in this chat, everyone watching on YouTube, everybody listening on the podcast should feel grateful that they had two of the greatest players in franchise history at the same time. And we will have those stories for our kids and our grandkids, just like our dads and our grandfathers and grandmothers and moms had stories about Makita and Hull for us.
Yeah.
Right. And we got, and guess what? We've got another tandem too in Keith and Seabrook. So make sure you vote on that poll on the YouTube chat, and we'll reveal the results at the end of the show.
Yeah, there were a couple little things from the chat earlier. Somebody was asking about Stalock. It sounds like based on what I've seen in the practice the last week, it sounds like he's going to, he'll be back soon. I was guessing maybe after Christmas, but Luke Richardson said after morning skate today that he might get one of the 2 games before Christmas. So this might have been Arvid Soderblom's last start here until Peter Mrazek gets injured again. But that would be good to see. I think it's time to get Arvid back to Rockford and let him get some wins. And then there was another chat in there. Was it about trades? It might have been Sam. Somebody was talking about maybe Davidson will start doing some trades. It said Jason's comment there, that top one. And they were, Jay and I were talking leaving the building after the second period and kind of talked a little bit earlier about a change. Some kind of change needs to happen.
Yeah, something.
Do you call up someone from Rockford or do you make a trade? Problem is, it takes 2 teams to make a trade. It's easy to say, just trade Domi now, or just trade Kane and Toews now. Somebody's got to be on the other end of that phone. And with Kane and Toews, you need their approval. Right.
And from what we understand, those conversations will be happening in the new year after the holiday. So we'll see. Look, to me, I think you're best off, unless, Kane or Toews says, I'm only going to this team. That's it. Fine. But if there's any kind of bidding war to be had, I think you have to wait, maybe not until deadline day, but till much closer to deadline as things sort of heat up and teams figure out where they are. Are they contenders? Are they not? However, you look at a team like the Rangers right now, who's hot, won 7 in a row, kind of making off for a slowish start here, and they might be wanting to intensify that playoff race and that playoff chase and jump in before anybody else does. I don't know. I really don't know what the answer is, but there's nothing that Kyle Davidson should be shutting the door on right now.
I doubt there is. I'm sure he's been working the phones. I guarantee you he wants to make a trade. He's probably been wanting to trade Max Domi since he got his 10th goal of the season. And I think, with Kane and Toews talking about waiting, that probably might be the best idea. And they might be waiting. They might be waiting as long as possible. Because if they're going to go, they want to go to a team they're sure is a Stanley Cup contender. Yeah, the Rangers have won 7 in a row right now, but, they didn't, last time we saw them, they didn't look like a world-beating team. And, this is December. Where are they going to be in March?
Yeah.
They're a flawed team. Didn't look like it tonight, but they're a flawed team.
Yeah, definitely.
And the East is so tough. Like, as good as the Rangers have been, they're in a wild card spot. They've won 7 in a row to get in a wild card spot. East is so tough, so they may wait a while so they can see. Boston's got 50 points. Are they playing over their heads? I think a little bit. Is New Jersey playing over their heads? They may wait to see some, like, where their things really shake out closer to the playoffs and then easy pickings and say, okay, this is the team I think's got the best shot since they have all the control.
Yeah. Before we take a quick break and wait for Mario to join us from the UC, some quotes rolling in here from Jonathan Toews, this by Scott Powers. Obviously, we'd like to be on a nice little winning streak, smiling ear to ear, fans going home happy, but this is just the way the game goes. There's ups and downs to it. It's fun when you're winning. It's really tough when you're losing. You got to battle through it in your mind and you got to battle thoughts in your mind and find a way to get stronger and better from it. Really, that's the only choice. It's life and it's hockey. It's the way it goes. So Jonathan Toews with some interesting, kind of philosophical thoughts, in the postgame here. And I think, you talk about a guy who has been a competitor and a winner his entire life. And it's one thing to have seasons that didn't quite go as expected, like last year, a couple years before that with some expectations that fell short. But this is different. This is going out there and knowing in your mind, we probably don't have a chance to win before the puck even drops. That's tough.
Yeah.
I saw somebody had a comment there. It's Mike says, Emily Kaplan said Davison called all 31 teams and said all UFAs are up for availability, but he won't settle. That would mean Toews and Kane.
Huh.
So does that mean we should check in with Emily Kaplan? Does that mean that they have waived their no movement clauses?
I don't know. I would think that if that was the case, that'd be all over the place.
Yeah.
And I think Emily would have specifically said Kane and Toews have waived their no trade clauses.
I would think so.
I that's not something you kind of just sneak in there.
But if all free agents are available,
right.
I don't know.
Or is it all free agents that he can actually trade,
Right.
So he should be open for business. There's no untouchables on this roster.
I don't have her number. I was going to text her, but I don't have her number. I have her email. Oh. All right. Mario's standing by, but before we get to him, we're going to tell you about the best meat sticks in the world. That's right. Green Ridge Farm, your Chicago local meat and cheese company. They make those all-natural deli meats that are amazing. Sausages, the jalapeno cheddar, just bought some of those the other day at the Mariano's. Delicious. But the meat sticks are perfect for tailgating, happy hour, school lunches. They're all natural and hardwood smoked for 8 hours. Chock full of protein, 16 grams per stick. Meat sticks come in chicken, black forest beef, and flavors like jalapeno cheddar and spicy chili. And the spicy chili is spicy. If you haven't tried them yet, you don't know what you're missing. They're delicious because they're made from recipes generations in the making, and they're all natural, delivering a fresh and flavorful alternative at snack time. You can always find them in the refrigerated section at Costco, Sam's Club, or in your local Chicagoland grocery store. And right now, order any 3 meat products at greenridgefarm.com and include a pack of meat sticks in your cart. Those meat sticks will be free simply by using the code CHGO at checkout. That's Green Ridge Farm, simply natural meat.
Hey, you guys like sunglasses? You should like sunglasses. And specifically, today I actually got to wear sunglasses. I actually got to put a pair of Shady Rays on today. It was weird. I woke up this morning and looked out the window and was like, why is it so bright out here? Is that even legal? Well, our friends at Shady Rays, they never understood why sunglasses were so expensive, so they set out to change it, and that is exactly what they've done. You do not have to break the bank this winter to get yourselves some quality sunglasses, because our friends at Shady Rays have you and your precious eyeballs covered. Shady Rays are premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. Best part about Shady Rays, you've heard me talk about it pretty much every show. They have the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. If you break or lose your shades on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Just like that. New Shady Rays. Did Jacob Trouba take a run at you from across the ice and knock them off your face and break them? Well, if that happened, hopefully somebody stood up for you and punched that guy in the head. And Shady Rays will give you some new sunglasses just like that. Even with that strong of a protection program, they still manage to make quality. That can tell you from being a customer, they are as good or better than any of the expensive brands on the market. Shady Rays customers agree with that because they have given over 200,000 5-star reviews. It's a lot of stars. Shady Rays also provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed and have donated over 20 million meals to date. They stand behind their product, and they told us here at CHGO if anyone has a problem, they will throw profit right out the giant test window at the Shady Rays factory. And they will do what it takes to get it right. Free returns and exchanges. You either love the Shades or Shady Rays pays to ship them back. And an exclusive deal for our listeners. Use the promo code CHGO at checkout, and you will receive 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. That's buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for as low as $54. The more you buy, the more you save. Redeem only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades.
All right, let's go out to the United Center and be joined by, that was weird. Let's talk to Mario Tirabassi, who is standing by in the press box. We are at full strength. We're fully powered up. Mario's with us. Make sure you're following him on Twitter at Mario_Tirabassi. And after the game, read his 3 Hawks hits. We all write those after every game. Well, one of us does after each game. Mario is on that duty tonight, so make sure you check it out as soon as the podcast ends. Mario, I'm sure it was a cheerful and very happy Hawks locker room.
Yeah. High fives and smiles everywhere. No, it took some time for the locker room to open. So, take that for what you want. No discussions of players only meetings or anything like that, but maybe some extra words around the locker room were necessary after tonight, where it really seemed like the Blackhawks, tale as old as time, give up the first goal, give up the second goal, give up the third goal, and are unable to recover from that kind of hole that they found themselves in. Even though if you were to look analytically through the first 40 minutes of this game, it was 4-1, 5-1 at the beginning of the third period. Analytically, it wasn't that score didn't represent how the game was shaping out between the Blackhawks and Rangers. Chicago had a good portion of the chances at even strength, and they just could not convert. The Rangers were seemingly getting every bounce tonight. They were getting a lot of odd man chances that the Blackhawks talked extensively about after tonight's game. Both Luke Richardson, Seth Jones, and Jonathan Toews all spoke tonight to the media, and they all mentioned the amount of odd man chances that they gave up to the Rangers, and how essentially leaving Arvid Soderblom out to dry far too often tonight, being kind of one of the biggest reasons that the score was so lopsided. Rangers just capitalizing on any small opportunity they had, and then the Blackhawks just having to chase the game, found themselves pinching, found themselves miscommunicating on a lot of chances, on a lot of rush chances for the Rangers, and leading to, Arvid Soderblom, this wasn't his best game, wasn't his worst game, but when you have to defend continuously against 3-on-2s, 4-on-2s, 2-on-1s, you're not going to save every one of them.
Here we are again, man. Just
same stuff.
It's tough. I saw, we just read some quotes from Jonathan Toews from Scott Powers, and he's kind of like waxing philosophical, like can't let the intrusive thoughts come in and those sort of things. And we were saying how tough this is to watch, not only as fans, but like for us that we're around these guys a lot. We talk to them all the time, and it's just got to be hell on earth for these guys to go through this. They're all competitive. They've all been winners in their career, right? Like at some point, every guy on this roster was the best player on their hockey team, right? All of them at some point was that good. And to come in just night after night after night, like the first period is such a great example. You feel like, wow, we played really well. You look up after 20 minutes and it's 3-0. Like, what the hell? It's got to be the most frustrating feeling for this team. And I, we were talking before, and I would like you to chime in on this, like talking about making a change for the sake of a change. Call somebody up. Maybe sit Jack Johnson for a couple games, not as a punishment, but to rest him and give Ian Mitchell a couple games before you figure out what to do with him. I don't know, like something has to give here to try to shake things up. And I know this is the plan and I know this is by design, and ultimately, like, yeah, the losses are good in the long term for them, but for the mental health of the players in this locker room, something has to give a little bit. There has to be some sort of effort made to make it less horrible for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's still early in the season for the complete roster overhaul that I think we're kind of expecting to happen at some point this year, where 4, 5, 6, 7, 18 Blackhawks might be on the move. Who knows? So I don't really know if the call up is going to be the change. Jared Tenorti, who left the game with another busted face.
Yeah.
It was in a different spot. Luke Richardson said it wasn't the same, the chin. It was a different spot, kind of in the mouth and teeth area. We'll see if anything's going to happen with that. If he'll need to miss any time. But he was still getting checked out. They said post game. So I don't know if maybe defensively they look at something. Honestly, though, I feel like if there's any need for someone to come up defensively, it's probably just going to be Philipp Kurashev coming back. So that's probably not your spark of change. I don't know if the plan is yet for Lukas Reichel to come up and be your spark of change. I hate to be pessimistic, but I really don't think that we're going to get a spark of change before the new year. It may have to wait until later in January, into February, before we really see roster changes. And I don't know how much that's going to spark anything. It'll maybe be, we might have something different to watch, but I don't know if it's going to be any better. But I think that's by design. So, I think this is the team as it is, and it really starts to come down to them to kind of have to pull themselves out of it, because there's no trade that's going to come to improve this team, and really outside of Reichel, there's really no one that you can call up that you would say would be a massive improvement over anybody else with this roster right now. And that's just kind of where the team is at.
Yeah,
the guys that are the exciting prospects are not close to being ready to even be NHL players. So this is the team. This is who they are. This is Blackhawks hockey for the 2022-23 season.
Yeah, there's not a lot of help coming. Lukas Reichel, everybody wants to see, but why stick him on this team right now? I mean, I don't know what that's going to accomplish. Maybe you reward a guy like Cole Gutman, who's been playing real well, had scored a couple more goals over the weekend, but he's not going to change the fortunes of this team. He's going to be another one of hey, look, another bottom six guys that can add some energy. So yeah, it kind of is what it is, but I also agree with Jay that they should do something, should happen here to kind of just to say, hey, look, we do give a crap. But how was Luke Richardson after the game? I knew you and I have been to a lot of post-game scrums this year, and it's kind of, I liked how we played, but we just made a couple of mistakes. Was it kind of the norm from Luke, or was there a little more frustration or I don't want to say anger, but emotion from him, or was it kind of just yeah, we played hard, but we just can't beat anybody?
No, I wouldn't say there was a ton of emotion or frustration shown. I think that, and that's not to say he doesn't care. That's to say I don't think he's a guy that really gets too high or too low emotionally. So I think he was coming at it as more of a very direct, very pragmatic way, and just kind of talked through the issues that the team had, that they that it's just kind of this slog of trying to have to overcome getting sustained offensive zone time and having nothing show for it, and playing 20 good minutes of hockey and not being able to score. And even saying the way that they played that first period, if they come out of it and it's 0-0, or even if they're only down 1-0 on the game's opening goal, where I believe it was Philip Heidel made a pretty impressive mid-air baseball swing to score the goal. If that's the only goal that they give up, they feel better about their effort. They feel better about their period, even if that's the only one that they give up. But you go into the first period, you're down 3-0. You have nothing to show for the offensive time, the offensive chances that you're creating. So it's really a snowball effect that they have to try and overcome, and quite honestly, try to avoid. This is 25 games out of 30 this season where they're starting the game down at least 1-0.
Yeah.
So it's constantly fighting back, trying to come back, and it's getting themselves out of their structure. Richardson talked about it. Seth Jones talked about it, how especially on the 2-on-1s, when you're down and you're chasing the game, it's harder to stay in your structure. And that's how odd man chances happen. Defenseman pinch, maybe sometimes going a little rogue on some pinches in the offensive zone that lead to odd man chances. Sometimes, it's players trying to do a little bit too much individually to change the game rather than staying within the team structure. But those are things that we've seen before with this team, that they have to constantly try and come back. And on some nights they are able to muster up a couple of goals in a comeback effort, but most nights they're not. I don't know. This is 7 goals in their last 7 games. I don't know where these comeback efforts have gone. Honestly, I don't blame them for being exhausted from having to come back in every single game, it seems. So it's just tough. It's, we were chatting about it at the game, chatting about it, during the third period when you guys were back at the studio here. It just, the fight just didn't seem there tonight. And especially on a night where Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane are celebrating their 1,000th game as teammates, that should put a little buzz into the building. It was a pretty well-attended game, and it just seemed like the effort, it just didn't translate. And towards the end of the game, you get, "Let's go Rangers" cheers that are unchallenged by the Blackhawks fans that were still in attendance. You get, a Bronx cheer, fittingly with the Rangers, a Bronx cheer for Arvid Soderblom, completely unnecessary from the Blackhawks fans. I get it, you're frustrated, but those are things that it's just come on, that's you watch this game, you look at the 7 goals that were given up. Are you going to hang all 7 on Soderblom? No.
The only one I didn't like was the Trouba one. I thought he should have stopped that because he had a clean look at it, but fine.
Yeah, the more frustrating thing with tonight was the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game was really good. I thought they were right there. They had some great chances to finally score that first goal of the game, but wasn't able to do it. And then it was they gave up the first one, and it was before you knew it was 3-0, and it was pretty much done at that point. They got that goal, but then in the second period they played okay to start. They got the goal thanks to Jacob Trouba, and but then they gave up the fourth right back, and then it was that's when it was kind of this team is coasting at this point. But I think it was more for now. We're starting to see there were so many games where it was they fall behind 1-0, 2-0, they come back, they right away, maybe right after they fall behind 2-0, they get a goal a couple minutes later to make it 2-1 before the end of the first period. But now I think you're starting to get they played so well to start the game, and they give up the first goal, and then I think you're really starting to get to, here we go again, and they just. Where before they were no big deal. We've come back before. We're going to do it again. And now they give up that first goal and they're deflated.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we saw that last season at the beginning of last season under much different circumstances. But yeah, Jonathan Toews spoke about it after the game. He said, we play with this weight on our shoulders right now where, things don't go well and it just snowballs out of control and we're not able to recover from it. Physically and mentally, he said. So it is very clearly wearing on the players where you have 1 win in your last 16 games. You're dead last in the league. Some of these guys have experienced dead last hockey before, but the 2 biggest voices in the room, Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, they haven't. Seth Jones has endured some bad seasons, but not this bad. like the leadership group of this team, for the most part, has not played hockey on this in this kind of environment before. So it is a tough challenge. It's a tough environment to be in, where you're constantly losing, constantly on your heels, and it's going to be up to them to try and kind of figure a way out of it. And I feel like Luke Richardson is trying to push every button he can, but also trying to still stick to the messaging and the structure that he started the season with, where they were having some successes. So I don't know what's really going to change it, other than maybe it is just some real bad luck and they need a bounce or two. Patrick Kane needs to purchase a goal somehow, and maybe things turn around a little bit. But I really can't pinpoint what's going to make that change. I think this is just the Blackhawks team.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we get to our 4 stars of the game, we've got over 100 people in the chat on
awesome.
7-1 loss on a Sunday night. We really appreciate y'all being here. Awesome. It means the world to us. Yeah, it's tough to talk about losses, but it is not tough to talk about hockey for a living. We love doing it. You guys are a big part of the reason we love doing it. So tell you what, we've got 37 likes right now, Steven. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
If we get to 50, we'll take an extra spin at the tank
Love
simulator. So if we get to 50, that's a bonus spin. We get to 60, that's another bonus spin. So for every 10 extra likes we get, we're going to take an extra spin at the Tankathon wheel at the end of the show. All right, so let's get to our 4 stars of the game before we let Mario hit the road here. Three stars of the game. The number 3 star for the Rangers, Capo Caco. 1 goal, 1 assist, 3 shots on goal. Adam Fox, ho-hum, another 3 assists for him. And this one, he was a +4 for the Rangers. And your number 1 star, just to stick that knife right in your back, Artemi Panarin. A goal, 2 assists, 4 shots on goal. He was great, and they showed during the second period Artemi Panarin kind of messing with Kane before the game, and Kane had like, okay, good to see you too, pal. F off, we suck. Get off my ass. You get to see he's just kind of annoyed at the whole thing, and I can't blame him for that. So anyway, I'm going to give my 4 star of the night to Jonathan Toews. I thought he played really, really well. -1 on the night, no points, 16:45 of ice time, 2 shots on goal, won a meager 67% of his faceoffs, but just kind of all over the place tonight. There were a few times where he had really good looks, got in close, was battling hard. I thought that Kurashev goal actually went off his stick, but it went off Jacob Trouba instead.
I wish it did go off a Taves stick. I would have won some money.
That would have been nice for you. By the way, just in case nobody knows, Philipp Kurashev's goal was the only point recorded by a Blackhawk tonight. It was unassisted. So only 1 point collected by Blackhawks players in this one. So Taves gets mine partly because of the 1,000th game with Kane, and partly because he battled his ass off and looked like a goal was coming from him for sure.
I'm going to go with Philipp Kurashev. Jay already gave my reason why I picked him, because he was the only Blackhawk with a point tonight. Jacob Trouba, my favorite guy ever, knocked that pass in. Chances are, though, if Trouba doesn't get his stick on that puck, Taves is just in there for the easy tap-in goal. So I think that was going to be a goal no matter what. But it's Kurashev's goal. But Kurashev was really noticeable tonight, and he's been noticeable the last handful of games. He's starting to get a little more creative out there. He's starting to figure out ways to elude defenders, to find some spots on the ice. I still think he needs to slow it down a tad bit at times. I think plays sometimes happen a little too fast.
Yeah.
And he kind of makes this great play, and then is kind of surprised he was able to do it. And then it's like, well, now what do I do? But there's definitely been improvement all season long. So Kurashev had that goal. He had 2 shots on goal and 7 shot attempts tonight for Kurashev. So, and a takeaway and no giveaways. So
solid.
Good for him.
Yeah, pretty good.
Thrill up.
Our favorite blue lines tonight, there were no favorable Hawks. The best 2 favorable Hawks were Kurashev, the lone point getter, lone goal scorer, and Jared Tenorti, who only played a period and a little bit and had his face split open a second time. So really not a lot of Blackhawks to choose from tonight. But I went with Patrick Kane solely because this was supposed to be a memorable night for him and Jonathan Toews. Their 1,000th game as teammates with the Chicago Blackhawks, joining former teammates Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook, and a slew of others to reach the 1,000 game benchmark as teammates. I believe the active teammates that are still playing and that have reached 1,000 games as teammates is Anze Kopitar with both Drew Doughty and Dustin Brown, and then Nicholas Backstrom and Alex Ovechkin, even though I know Backstrom is currently hurt. So yeah, big company to be with those guys.
All right, Mario, you want to chime in on our poll? Who is the greatest duo in Blackhawks history? Is it Kane and Toews? Is it Mikita and Hull? Is it Keith and Seabrook? What do you think?
It's Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. I'm writing about it in the Hawks Hits tonight. I don't think it's a hot take to say that they are the best duo the Blackhawks have ever seen. Yes, Mikita and Hull are historically great, amazing Hall of Famers. They have their statues out there. Keith and Seabrook will be headed to the rafters in the United Center. Their numbers are going to be retired. But so are Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. They're also going to the Hall of Fame. If they don't have a statue already commissioned of the both of them, I'm sure it'll happen sometime soon after they retire. There's not a more impactful pair of players for any Chicago team, at least in my lifetime, than Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. 3 Stanley Cups, a Conn Smythe for each, an MVP for Patrick Kane, a Selke for Jonathan Toews, and just the way that they, for the majority of their careers, owned this city. It's Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about Chicago sports, Pippen and Jordan have an argument, that's for sure. But
Sure. Okay.
yeah,
I'll
I
give
don't
you
know. But it was like Jordan and whoever you had with him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that was kind of the. I don't know. That's a good discussion. That sounds like a good CHGO sports podcast topic.
There you go.
Coming up soon. I'll send it to Kevin. But yeah, I look, when you can, like you said, you combine the winning, you combine the accomplishments of both, and I agree with you that those two are the best tandem in Hawks history. Now, I never saw Hull and Mikita play. I've only heard the rumors from my pappy and my grandpappy and all that stuff. But winning matters, hanging banners matters, and those guys did it at a better rate than anybody in this franchise's history. So they get my vote.
Yeah, it's tough. Like Mikita, Hull, legendary players. But 3 is more than 1, and in a league, you can argue it was tougher to win Stanley Cups back in Mikita and Hull's day because it was just 6 teams. But didn't stop the Montreal Canadiens for doing it every year for about 30 straight years. So, I'm gonna give it to Toews and Kane, but man, Keith and Seabrook are right there. You could argue what duo was more important to those championship runs, and you aren't going to be wrong if you say either one. Yeah, Kane and Toews provided the offense and the leadership and all that stuff, but you ask anybody who played on those teams, Brent Seabrook was the real leader in the locker room, and even Jonathan Toews will say that.
Yeah.
And some of those things that Duncan Keith was able to do, especially in that 2015 run, were ungodly. I don't know if you win 3 cups with only one of those guys. Both of those guys were so important. So to me, it comes down to a coin flip between Toews and Kane and Seabrook and Keith. Kane and Toews will get the nod from most people because they had more of the highlights. They had more of the spotlight on them, more of the glorious plays, where Keith and Seabrook were doing a lot of things that would go unnoticed and didn't show up on a score sheet, but you needed every night. So, but I'm still going to go with 19 and 88.
Fair enough. All right, Mario, drive safe, man. We'll talk to you. We're back on Tuesday. Got an off day tomorrow. We're back on Tuesday.
Yep. We'll see you guys then.
Take care. That's Mario Tirabassi live from the United Center. Follow him at Mario_Tirabassi and look for his 3 Hawks hits to drop moments after this podcast is over. We do those after every Hawks game, so jump on to allchgo.com and check those out. We've got good stuff coming all the time. Good time to be a diehard at allchgo.com. You save on all of our events, save on all of our merch, and oh yeah, when you sign up, you get a free shirt or hat at sign up, and every year upon renewal, and it makes a great gift. So if you're looking for a gift for the Chicago sports fan in your life, get them that CHGO Die Hard membership. It's absolutely awesome, and like I said, makes a wonderful, wonderful gift. All right, we want to tell you about our friends at ComEd. Their energy efficiency program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve save money and energy. ComEd offers free facility assessment that can help find energy-saving opportunities, whether it's lighting, HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually and last about 2 hours. Each recommendation will include an estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, and potential incentives and simple payback. Don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy-saving tips and to schedule your free facility assessment, go to comed.com/poweringbiz. That's comed.com/poweringbiz. And if you're ready to sign up for a facility assessment, give them a call, 855-433-2700 during normal business hours to speak with a ComEd Energy Efficiency Program representative. Email businessee@comed.com or request an assessment online on our website at comed.com/facility assessment.
Hey, and all that money that you're saving with our friends at ComEd, you can spend on some really sweet golf apparel and accessories with Pins and Aces, the official golf apparel partner of CHGO. If you want to look great on the golf course, not now, it's cold out there, but when springtime comes around and get compliments on and off the course, visit Pins and Aces, a family-owned golf and apparel business. They make amazing polos, hats, golf pads, and even their favorite beer sleeve. It's an innovative product that allows you to store 7 beers right inside your golf bag and keep drinks cold the entire round. Drinks are going to have no problem staying cold right now, but come July,
beer warmer.
That sleeve is going to come in handy. And last time I checked, 7 is one more than 6, and that's good.
That is correct.
That's almost a beer for every 2 holes. Check out pinsandaces.com, and you can use CHGO at checkout to receive 15% off your first order and get absolutely free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. The Blackhawks will be golfing much earlier than most hockey teams this year.
Sheesh.
So get the jump on them and get your apparel picked out.
And hockey fans, light the lamp this winter with our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. You're a new customer, bet $5 pregame money line on any NHL team to win and get $150 in free bets if they do. And if that wasn't enough, you can turn small bets into bigger payouts with same-game parlays. Greg and I both missed our same-game parlays today. We had basically identical. Rangers to score first, Rangers to lead after 1, but I had Kane anytime goal scorer, and Greg had Toews, so we did not hit our same-game parlay, but hell, it was fun to play along.
Got greedy. Should have just stuck with the first period bets. Those are the easy money these days.
That's true.
Sean, our buddy Sean, he was in here earlier from CHGO White Sox and CHGO Bets. He's riding the first period bets all the way to the bank.
Yep. You're welcome, Sean. You get to keep your job on the bet show. Way to go. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code CHGO. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game, and you'll get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details. And before we get to our tank standings and our tank sim, we've got to give you our DraftKings King of the Game.
Kings.
And today it's 2 kings. Wow. Kane and Toews, 1,000 games, 3 Stanley Cups, and infinite memories. So congrats to Kane and Toews. They'll receive a complimentary watch courtesy of Seiko. Seiko, the watch company that's probably not in business anymore. No, they're the DraftKings King of the Game, and that's a lot of fun. So congrats to them.
Yes.
A 7-1 loss, you got to pick somebody. So thank you for these hockey milestones that keep
Yes.
All right, let's get to it. That's what everybody's waiting for. How many likes do we have?
We have 55. So 5 more and we'll get an extra.
5 more. That means we get 3 spins at the wheel.
Smash the like.
Smash those like buttons. We get to 70. We get 3. Or, I mean, I'm good at math. All right, let's do the tank standings first.
All right, tank standings.
I'm excited. I'm all like ready to go.
It's sad that this is the most exciting thing of our
It really
show
is,
now.
isn't it? All right, so as you know, as a Hawks fan, the Blackhawks lead the tank standings with 18 points in 30 games. They are a glorious 7-19-4. The Anaheim Ducks keep picking up points, 21 points in 32 games. They're 9-20-3. Columbus with 22 points in 29 games. Arizona, 24 points in 29 games. And the San Jose Sharks, 26 points in 32 games. I have a sneeze coming on.
All right, well, that'll allow me to toot my own horn.
There we go.
Toot. I do recall one of the handsome 3 hosts on this show saying that, man, if the Ducks just call up Lucas Dostal, their young goaltending prospect, maybe they'll actually start to win a few games. And they've won 2 in a row
There you go.
with my guy Lucas in net.
That's it. That's a shakeup.
Hey.
That's what we're talking about.
Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a
There
while.
you go. There you go.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we get how many spins we get?
We're at 58 right now.
50. Come on. 2 more likes gets us another spin.
Come on.
And these count. This is the actual draft lottery.
We had to watch the game. All you guys have to do is hit a button.
Seriously.
Seems pretty easy.
Smash that like button. 2 more is. All right, let's get the first spin out of the way here. All right, here we go. I get nervous for this. Like it's actually going to matter.
All right, here we go.
All right, here we go. First spin
All
at the
right,
wheel.
Let's do it. No St. Louis.
Oh!
They pretty much stayed
Yeah,
exactly
it stays
the
in.
way they are.
Look at nobody moved up or down. Are we
actually
sure?
hit the
He
button?
did hit it.
I hit it.
Yes, he did.
All right.
All right, so
take it.
wait, do we, since they finished number 1, do we just scrap it? What do we do? All right, let's do
This
one
has never
more.
happened
do
before.
one
Fill it
more.
up again.
Let's
do
do
it
it.
again.
All right, let's see if this one actually changes. Nashville.
All right, the Hawks fall to 3 on that one. Nashville. Ugh. The league will not let that happen. They're
Yeah.
not letting Connor Bedard go to Nashville.
No.
Hell no.
No.
All right, did we get to 60 yet? Come on. Someone else smash the like button for the
We
love of
need
God.
literally 1 more. There's
Yeah.
84 people watching.
Come
with
on.
I'm not doing it.
likes.
No,
Somebody hit the thumb.
I'm standing my ground.
Yeah.
All right,
Got
here we
it.
go.
Yeah,
There we go. All right. One more.
Hey,
One more.
I
Here
see
we
it
go.
up there. I never noticed it before.
Oh, that's new.
Here we go. Reset that. Get Nashville out of there.
Screw Nashville.
All right, here we go.
Here it
One
is.
more time.
Last
One more
one.
time.
Yeah! Up
2
yours,
out of 3.
Nashville.
2 out of 3. The Hawks get the number 1 pick.
good enough for me.
Nashville gets number 2 on that one. Who is thumbs downing us? Kiss our ass. Don't do that. That's not funny. That screws things up for us.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's probably that porn bot we keep banning.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Pornbot. It's not my other account.
Speaking of Nashville, we get to see the fun and exciting Nashville Predators versus these Blackhawks on Wednesday night.
Yeah, that's fun. All right. That might
Love
be-
my job. I love my job.
I'm not feeling so great all of a sudden.
I
What's
love
going
my
on?
job. I love my job. I love my job.
But I don't love the Predators. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us in the chat. Once again, happy birthday to our friend Region Rev. We appreciate you. And happy Hanukkah to those who observe. It's the first day of Hanukkah. Very exciting. The Hawks lit the first candle in the menorah today in the atrium. So pretty cool.
And the Rangers lit their ass.
They sure did. Happy holidays, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And we'll talk to you Tuesday at 2:30 on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.